Right, nobody was able to stop him. It's that type of shot, though. Even today, if anyone were to just take the time to learn how to shoot it, they would find that it's a very effective weapon, especially against tall defenders.
When you talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you're talking about perfection, a living basketball monument. With 6 MVPs, 6 championships, and the most unstoppable move in NBA history, the skyhook, Kareem cemented his legacy as one of the greatest players to ever step on the court. But greatness isn't built without battles. It's forged in the crucible of competition. So, who made Kareem sweat, fight, and elevate his game to another level? Let's dive into the 6 legends who Kareem himself considered the toughest of his career. Wilt Chamberlain, the unstoppable force. Wilt wasn't just big, he was mythical, standing at a towering 7'1", and built like a tank with the agility of a guard. Wilt was one of the most intimidating forces basketball had ever seen. This wasn't just a man on the court. It felt like trying to stop an earthquake. For Kareem, every matchup with Wilt was a test of survival, a battle of skill and sheer strength against someone who seemed unbeatable. Wilt wasn't there to play basketball. He was there to dominate and humiliate. He let his opponents know it too, though averaging an absurd 50 points per game during his prime speaks for itself. He was also a defensive nightmare capable of blocking shots without even looking like he tried, while grabbing rebounds from guys much stronger than him. Wilt made me rethink everything about my game, Kareem once revealed. If you weren't prepared to fight on every possession, he'd make you look ridiculous out there. Wilt outsmarted players, outworked them, and used trash talk effectively. And believe me, Wilt could talk. He'd get into Kareem's head saying things like, "You better bring everything you got, kid." But even that will not be enough. Beyond the physical battles, there was psychological warfare. Kareem admitted that Wilt's mind games helped push him to his limit. He talked trash all the time, Kareem explained, but instead of making me angry, it made me focus harder. Every insult was just fuel for the fire. He forced me to be better than I thought I could be. Wilt brought out the best in me. He made every possession feel like life or death, while Kareem's legendary skyhook gave him moments of control in what felt like chaos. No matter how dominant Wilt was, though the skyhook proved to be an equalizer, Kareem perfected it to the point where even Wilt's 7'8" wingspan couldn't stop it consistently leaving audiences mesmerized. It was this mix of brutal strength and undeniable skill that defined their rivalry. Facing Chamberlain was like climbing a moving mountain, and yet Kareem rose to the challenge time and time again. Wilt demanded greatness from everyone he competed against, even Kareem, whose name is now embedded among the basketball gods. Chamberlain was everything Kareem needed to become one of the greatest players of all time, and for that, he will always hold a place in Kareem's mind as the unstoppable force who defined his rise to greatness. Bill Walton, the ultimate team player. Known for his basketball IQ, passing, and relentless rebounding, Bill's game had a purity Kareem admired. Kareem often said Walton wasn't just playing basketball, he was elevating it. You couldn't outsmart Bill because he was always 2 steps ahead, Kareem shared during an interview. While many big men could score, few could make their team better like Bill did. Kareem's matchups with Bill were legendary chess matches. He wasn't the most physically imposing center, but he compensated with brilliance. He'd exploit tiny gaps in defenses, using his pinpoint passing to find shooters, or cutting through the lane for crafty finishes. You had to be perfect to beat Bill, Kareem explained. There was no room for mistakes when he was out there. One game Kareem vividly remembers was during the 1977 playoffs, where Walton's Portland Trailblazers defeated Kareem's Lakers. Walton dominated with rebounds, defense, and leadership that felt surreal. Bill wasn't about collecting stats. He was about winning. Every move he made supported that goal, Kareem said. Although Bill's career was hindered by injuries, Kareem acknowledged him as someone who could outthink and outplay even the best. He played basketball like a maestro conducting an orchestra, Kareem reflected. Bill was about team chemistry, and that made him a nightmare to face. Moses Malone, the relentless warrior. When it came to sheer willpower, Malone was unmatched. Kareem labeled Malone as one of the fiercest competitors he ever faced, a player who didn't just battle but thrived on physicality. Nicknamed the chairman of the boards, Malone had an uncanny ability to dominate games through rebounding alone, often turning missed shots into scoring opportunities. Malone wasn't flashy. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, Kareem once said in an interview. He just worked harder than everyone else. It was exhausting to play against him because he never stopped. Malone's relentless energy and sheer determination made him impossible to ignore. Kareem often found himself fighting Malone for every inch of the court, knowing that even a momentary lapse would result in a rebound or foul. But what separated Moses was his ability to elevate teams, most notably during his MVP season in 1983 when he led the Sixers to a championship. Malone took his toughness and turned it into leadership, Kareem said. That leadership wasn't loud or vocal, it was action-packed. He showed up every night ready to brawl, ready to dominate. For Kareem, Malone was proof that effort beats talent when talent doesn't bring its A-game. You could be the most skilled player in the world, but Moses would find a way to outwork you, Kareem said. It was this relentless grind that made Malone one of Kareem's toughest adversaries and a true legend of basketball. Larry Bird, the cold-blooded killer. Bird was an assassin in sneakers. For Kareem, facing Bird felt like facing someone who could see the future. Bird's ability to read the game, spot weaknesses, and exploit them was terrifying. He always knew where you'd be before you knew it yourself, Kareem admitted. Bird didn't need to jump high or run fast. He controlled the game with his mind and his unshakable confidence. Kareem often recalled Bird's trash-talking during games, saying, "Larry had this way of getting in your head. He wasn't loud, but he could cut you down with one sentence and then bury a jumper right in your face." Bird's combination of shooting and rebounding made him a triple threat, the kind of player who could dominate the game from anywhere on the floor. The 1984 NBA Finals between Kareem's Lakers and Bird's Celtics was especially memorable. Larry would not quit. He played every possession like it was his last, Kareem said. Bird's work ethic was so relentless that Kareem found himself adjusting his entire game just to deal with him. For Kareem, Bird wasn't just tough, he was cold-blooded. When Larry hit a big shot, he'd just look at you like it was the most normal thing in the world, Kareem said. Bird's unshakable confidence made him one of the fiercest competitors Kareem ever faced and an undisputed basketball icon. Hakeem Olajuwon, the king of footwork. Facing Hakeem was like trying to defend a blaze of artistry. He represented a new generation of centers who blended finesse, athleticism, and fundamental skill into their game. Hakeem was different, Kareem said in an interview. He didn't just overpower you, he outsmarted you. His footwork was so beautiful, it felt like dancing. Known as the Dream, Hakeem's ability to mix fadeaways, spin moves, and dream shakes kept Kareem on edge during their matchups. You couldn't guess what Hakeem was going to do next, Kareem said. He was unpredictable, and that made him almost impossible to defend. One moment that stood out to Kareem was Hakeem's MVP season in 1994, when he carried the Rockets to a championship. Hakeem was a problem. He turned defense into offense easily, and he wasn't afraid to challenge anyone, said Kareem. He wasn't just reacting to the game, he was dictating it. Hakeem symbolized evolution in basketball, a center who thrived on skill rather than brute force. Hakeem made me respect the next generation, Kareem admitted. Watching him play was watching a master at work. Hakeem proved you didn't need size alone to dominate. You needed brains and a touch of magic. Elvin Hayes, the silent killer, known as the Big E, Elvin played with toughness that Kareem regarded as quietly terrifying. Standing at 6'9", Elvin had the perfect balance of size and skill to compete against Kareem, and his fadeaway jumper was nearly as unguardable as Kareem's skyhook. Elvin was tough on every possession, Kareem said. He'd make you fight for rebounds, and then hit you with that fadeaway that was impossible to block. Hayes wasn't flashy. He was consistent, calm, and deadly, and if you underestimated him for even a second, you'd pay the price. One of Kareem's standout memories with Hayes came during epic matchups between the Lakers and Hayes' Bullets in the 1970s. Kareem said, "Elvin didn't back down from anyone. He'd match your intensity with his own and quietly dominate the game. He was among the league leaders in both scoring and rebounding during his prime, proof of his unstoppable consistency. Elvin represented the quiet destroyers, the players who don't need the spotlight, but crush their opponents all the same. Elvin showed me that big egos don't win games. Big efforts do," Kareem reflected. Elvin might have been soft-spoken, but on the court, his game roared louder than words could ever say. Kareem's legacy isn't just defined by his unstoppable skyhook or 6 NBA titles. It's written in the battles he fought against the toughest players to ever grace the hardwood. These legends challenged him, pushed him to his limits, and made him even greater. Each rivalry tells a story of resilience and the pursuit of greatness. And through their battles, the game of basketball reached heights none of us could have imagined. Well, that's all for this one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.